perspective rather than me just talking, that you tell me what you know about Haiti, what you would like to know, or even what you really don't want to know. When I do this kind of question and answer, the basic rule is you can ask anything you want. Haiti is my favorite topic. It is the one I'm most well in because I know it's hard to believe, but I have been going to Haiti for about 53 years, I'm going to say.
So when you were born, you started going?
Yeah, see? You're a man.
You've been trained well by your wife.
And I've been through it all. My parents have been through it all. We have been through Papa Dr. Valier, Baby Dr. Valier. We have been when Aristide came and went twice over, and I was there when he came back the third time. I have been through the earthquake. I was there when the world fell apart for all of us, and it certainly fell apart for me. I thought everything that I had known in my life thus far in 2010 and everything that my parents had invested in was over, and that was not to be the case. But
I have
it
a
was,
question.
yes.
Sorry, that was rude. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You
I
can
thought
be
you were
rude.
at the end of the
I can
sentence.
match rudeness. Are we humans? So go for it.
Yes, you
Well,
can.
in reference to your questions, I'd like to know, I mean, all of us in this club live to serve, so why did you choose Haiti and why did you choose to serve there?
Okay, well, first of all, I say I did choose it. A lot of people will come to Haiti and they'll say, if you ask them why are you here, they will tend to say, well, God has called me. And my question to that is, what did he say exactly? And they look at me and they say, well, why would you even ask that question? I said, well, because what God apparently has told that person and what he has told that person and what he has told that person seem to be very different things. So either God doesn't know what he's talking about or we're not getting the message. So I got to Haiti because I am my father's daughter, but I did choose it. I was kind of anointed and I agreed. And I said I would take it on. My parents were in their 70s by that time. They had moved to Haiti when they were 60. But prior to that, when I was much younger, my father was, he was a businessman, and he was also a kind of guy that loved to work at grassroots issues. And as a young man, he was really called to, he believed that God saved his life. He was a rather sickly man, and he believed that if God would spare his life, his father had already died, he had 2 other children, siblings in his family, and he said, God, if you spare my life, I will commit to working with the less than in the world. And God took him on, and that really wrote the script for us as children. So I won't go into everything that he did because that's a whole other book in itself, but around in the late 60s, a guy from Fort Wayne, Indiana, a business associate of my dad, said, Jack, I'd like to take you to Haiti. And my dad said, you're on. And my favorite daughter, the oldest, me, he said, I want to take her along. Will you come, Bets? And so he pulled me out of my grade 11 class at the time, and I'd go anywhere with my dad, and off we went to Haiti. And my dad thought, take me to the Pearl of the Antilles. He was a very theatrical man, and he thought this was just an opportunity of a lifetime. And what they wanted to get my dad to do was to raise money and invest in a nationwide inoculation program against tuberculosis. And so that was, my sister is much younger than me, but that was an opportunity for us to really see every aspect of Haiti. We were given the opportunity to travel from the north to the west, to the east, to the south. And in that experience, my father thought, inoculating people against Haiti is not going to solve this country's problems. And as the earlier message said, my dad thought, a country that can't feed itself will always be poor. I do believe this is an agricultural community, is this not? You're my group, you're my people. And he said the answer to Haiti was with those who have their hands in the soil. So he goes to his board that he had all handpicked already to do this nationwide inoculation program and said, we're not going to solve anything unless we invest in agriculture. And his board looked at him and I said, and he was the president. He was the founding president of this organization. And I looked at him and said, sorry, Jack, we're gonna stick to health. And my dad said, fine, I'll start another organization. I don't think they believed him, but my dad is unstoppable. And so he took out a new charter called FIDA, Foundation for International Development Assistance, with its mandate, as he would say it, to empower the poorest of the poor to be masters of their own destiny. And so when they were 60 years old, my parents sold all that they had, packed away the rest, moved to Haiti, and my father went about discovering how could you get communities to collectively invest in agriculture production. Because he believed that true development must be owned by the people, must be envisioned by the people, it must be owned by the people, and it must be managed by the people. And within that, my parents were immigrants. They came from the Ukraine, so that's our background. So I come from parents and grandparents and great-grandparents from the Ukraine, so the whole situation for us there touches us deeply. But he believed that if there is not a possibility for a government to support you, and there is no individual capacity for you to overcome a particular adversity that you have, that the cooperative business model was the most ideal model for a country such as Haiti. And he began going about the country to see who would, has the expertise to understand this concept. And when they were in their mid-70s, and my parents went through very, very difficult times. Believe you me, it was from heydays to coups to, it is a very troubled history that Haiti has, and today it is much worse than it ever has been in the entire past 60 years, I would say. By the mid-70s, my father announced at a board meeting that he was quitting and I was taking over, and unbeknownst to me, and I said to my dad, okay, here are my terms, I'll do it for 3 years, I'm in, I'm out. And that was 24 years ago this month.
What's the population?
Of Haiti? It's under 12 million. So when I first went there, it was around 5 million. So in the last 50 plus years, it has doubled. I think it's very difficult to get a good census in Haiti. I mean, getting anything accurate out of Haiti is problematic.
With the political situation in Haiti, and you say it seems to be worse now.
It is. There's no seeming.
And I don't mean this to sound.
No, go ahead.
I don't mean to sound, but how can you expect to help the people when the government is kind of siphoning off all the wealth, or if that makes any sense?
Okay, all right. How do we continue to do that? Well, first of all, we invest in a cooperative business model. A business model is a model that is owned and managed by invested shareholders. Second of all, we focus on agriculture production. Okay, so largely in improving local seed, and the only capital structure that we would invest in is what we call a seed storage unit. Doesn't look like anything you have here. It's not the round metal Roscoe or whatever you call them things. These are like cement structures, usually about 20 by 40. Some of them we even have built underground reservoirs, but that is the only capital asset of the cooperative. So it is how you invest in better seed, how you buy that seed. So we have loan programs, and if you're interested in investing in anything, I'm currently in need of about $16,000 for credit. Where you would buy, where the cooperative itself would buy the seed from its membership, you store the seed, you sell it when the price is high. So how is it that we continue to do what we do? Well, first of all, our name in Haiti is Productive Cooperatives Haiti. Productive Cooperatives Haiti is a Haitian, we register it as a Haitian organization, and we are entirely Haitian in Haiti with the exception of myself. Okay? So We don't have helping, healing, saving, feeding, starving, mission, international, or whatever in our name, or hope. That's a big word, right? You know, healing hands, helping hearts, whatever. We do not position ourselves as a mission. We position ourselves as a development bank, providing resources to, you know, to invest in advancing the cooperative business model. So that insulates us a little bit. We are not logo driven. We don't have our name on cars. We don't have our name on t-shirts. We don't have our name on our offices, because we are investing in local ownership. So it's very much taking away, it's not about us kind of thing, right? And so that does give us a certain measure of safety in the country. Second of all, when you do have gangs that are, we work in rural areas, so our biggest challenge is getting to those areas. So the gangs are controlling all the exits out of the city. So instead of using our own vehicles, our staff all travel by local transport. So, which means, practically speaking, it's the drivers that pay the gangs. So our staff, and we would travel, we don't travel kind of in a whole kind of, we travel in back of taps. So for me to be there, I would be the only white person there. Not only would I put myself at risk, if I traveled with our staff, I would put them at risk. So hence I am here being able to speak to you where I would otherwise be in DC. So we continue to do what we do because we invest in the community structure. So I will tell you, in this day and age, when schools are being closed, I'm sure you're hearing about that. And those schools that have sponsorship programs for their kids, where the uniforms are provided and they have backpacks and 2 meals are provided, and now those kids are now dependent on their families, you have created a problem. Because those families cannot feed their children because they have been expected to be fed at school. And those parents cannot support the learning of their children because those parents themselves are completely illiterate. So if there's one big thing I've learned in Haiti above all else, it's no such thing as child poverty, it's adult poverty. And as a group of Kiwanis who I know you believe in children and invest in children, and for us, if you're going to want to be about children, you have to be about families. I know you know that, and if you're going to be about families, you have to be about children. And there we have our alignment. So I don't know if that answers your question satisfactorily or not. I could go on about that, but.
Is the land privately owned that they farm?
Yes. So does anyone, we're not a large organization. We're not like World Vision or Compassion or UNICEF or Red Cross. Does anyone want to guess how many indirect acres we cultivate as a very small organization through the cooperative movement? Want to take a guess?
10,000.
100?
100, yeah.
Oh, wow. No, but we are better than that. We are about 20,000 acres.
Really?
In areas where there are cooperatives, there are no orphanages, there are no feeding programs, there's no sponsorship programs. They are communities that can provide for their families and feed themselves.
And what kind of crops are they able to grow?
Haiti has a very, very topography. It's quite mountainous, and it can grow absolutely anything. And I know that is astonishing when everybody believes that Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. It is a very sad epitaph. And, but it can grow anything. It can grow from rice in valleys to coffee in the mountains. It can grow any fruit, most any vegetable.
How about water supply?
That depends on the area. So, you know, when you have poor water supply, and access to water is also very challenging. We currently have received partner funding, you know, because it's getting the water from the source. The safest kind of water supply is getting it from the source. And then it's getting it, you know, getting water and accessing it is a problem. So we have just received some considerable funding to be able to bring that water source up and create distribution points in one particular community.
How do you feel about the UN peacekeepers? I mean, are you hoping that they bring them in, or are you hoping that they don't? Because I know Canada's right now on that, they're about to.
No, what Canada is doing, currently, what Canada has done, is they have brought in a plane, surveillance plane, and 2 ships, I believe. I have been in personal discussion with our ambassador to the UN, and they've taken up a little bit of my advice and not so much. First of all, they say it has to be Haitian-led. Everybody says it has to be Haitian-led. But the problem is, in Haiti, is that no Haitian trusts any other Haitian. They actually don't trust anybody. So to say it's Haitian-led would be very, very challenging to say who's ever gonna get their act together to agree, because everybody has an agenda. And every Haitian believes everyone else has an agenda. So when I said to the ambassador, what is Canada's agenda? He said, well, Betsy, he says, Canada doesn't. I says, well, you can say Canada doesn't, but nobody's gonna believe you. He said, but the biggest challenge is that the bigger players, France, Canada, and US, all have different agendas. I said, well, Bob, his name is Bob Ray, Ambassador Ray. I said, if that's the case, Canada, I'm going to say this without bragging, but Canada probably has the most favorable view in Haiti compared to France or other European countries or the US. And I said, if because of that, I would suggest that Canada take the lead in negotiations, and that is the one thing apparently that is being done. So I just read the news yesterday that that Biden is encouraging our Trudeau to take the lead. I don't know if he knows what he's going to do with that, but I would suggest, further thing I would suggest is that when we begin that kind of dialogue, which has to happen, it has to include the gangs and it has to include the politicians, that you don't have a Haitian, because if you bring a Haitian into that mix of dialogue, they won't trust you. And the other thing I would advise, which they're presently not taking, because they're saying to reinforce the police, but Canada has already spent millions and millions and millions training that police force, and look, what have we done? We haven't really done it, and there's lots of reasons for that. My proposal would be to develop a certain kind of militia within the police force. Because when they introduced Aristide to Haiti, you know, back in 1990, 91, whatever it was, the deal was they would agree to support a democratic style of government if Haiti got rid of its army, and I think that was a good mistake. And I am a pacifist Mennonite, so.
And what do you have here?
Oh, so I know you will not agree with this, but we work with adults and we work with agriculture, and that's not a very sexy thing. So, though I would probably counter that with this group. Agriculture seems very sexy here.
Cowboys and Jacks?
I know, well, you know.
That's another
So what we try to do is to show a different part of Haiti, and so I go to Haiti and I bring in things that are made in Haiti, generally from recycled. Almost everything we have is made from some kind of recycled material, and it's simply to get people to, oh, I didn't know that Haitians could do that. I didn't know they had that kind of talent. So it is really a way of us to kind of, juice it up a bit and to get people to look at Haiti in a different way. So all of these metal things, and these are just small things because, you know, we can't bring a ton of stuff in here, but it's all made from recycled oil drums. Okay? All of this is made from banana bark. The cute little angels here are made from broken glass. What else do we have here? I think those are about the
That's
three
all we
things
brought today.
that we brought today. But everything we do is I buy direct from the artisan in all cases, except in the card case. We use somebody, an intermediary there. But we work with artisans, you know, all over Haiti, and say, okay, but I am a business person, and I say, don't sell me crap, because I am representing your country. And if it's not what I think has value, I am not going to do it. We are here to promote what Haiti can do, who you are, what you have, and what you can do, not who you aren't and what you cannot do. And unfortunately, a country is poor because we tell them they're poor. So I will take more questions, but, oh, go ahead.
No, one more
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
For those of you who don't know,
unless you never talk to me. I'm from down here.
You're from Haiti? Vous
Yes.
parlez créole?
Up here.
Oh.
What was that?
Yeah, if we spoke Creole, he said a little.
Yeah.
Whatever she said, that's true. That's what I stay out of the conversation. And I 95% supported what she said. Everything she said is true.
I'll take you I'll take you right to 100%, okay?
You knew that when you said 95, right? You said 95. Yeah, that was easy when you said that coming. Holy man.
Okay, what is the biggest challenge in Haiti?
No, you said it. It's a trust issue.
Okay.
My pastor is Asian, and we support his movement, his ministry down there. And he's the one teaching me about the culture and everything else. And, that's why.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
The biggest problem in Haiti is the Haitian mentality. And if we're going to address anything in Haiti, we have to address that mentality. We call it, the first thing we needed to do if we were going to be effective is to address what we call the psychosocial obstacles, and he named the first one. We call it the twin demons of fear and mistrust. It's endemic in Haiti. And if you don't address, or if you don't name these issues, address them, and have a strategy to deal with them, nothing you do in that country will work, guaranteed. There are more issues. We call it the powerful leader syndrome, okay? All right, community conflict, right? Another one we call is les gens blancs, foreign aid, okay? Foreign aid is a killer in Haiti. It's demotivating. When you go and you are giving without expectation of return, you will constantly have a country that's impoverished. Another one, and this is near and dear to us, okay, is illiteracy. Illiteracy is the most debilitating factor in that country. We work in a population where illiteracy is 80 to 90% in rural countries. And what I mean by illiteracy, you don't recognize a number or a name or a letter, and you have to sign your name with an X.
80 to 90%.
80 to 90%. So when I started, that was the one thing that got me. I thought, okay, if we're going to change it up here, I started in my tenure by developing a the most comprehensive adult literacy program that Haiti ever has, and we are still doing that today. So in July, we graduated about a little over 800 men and women at a level 1 literacy. We have 4 levels. Does anybody want to know how many I got lined up right now?
Thousands.
2,000 registered, okay?
Right.
So they have to be a member of a cooperative, right? Because literacy is a benefit we offer to a shareholding member of a cooperative. I have just received enough money for 400. It cost us $100 per person for a 9-month level.
Wow.
Why? We don't build schools. We don't invest in any kind of capital infrastructure. Why? Because the cooperatives are responsible for that. They are responsible to locate the centers, to recruit people, okay, and to make sure they show up. Okay? Number 2, we don't need to buy uniforms. We don't need to buy backpacks. Number 3, we don't have feeding programs. That is where your cost is. And when you have a parent who can read or write and can understand, can hold the teachers accountable for their students, can be able to sign a student's report, who can go to the market and not be taken advantage of. Now you have dignity and confidence in a parent to be able to raise their child. I'm going to get on dangerous territory here, but you probably get it that I'm not really a sponsorship kind of person. And what bothers me, I would say the most, is the number of foreigners who go down and sponsor an orphanage or a school and they refer to these children as our children. And they do fundraising campaigns that say, be a hero for Haiti, make this child your child. And I said, but they're not. I'm not going to be that hero. I am not their mother. And every time you use that term, they're our children, you are robbing, you are dissembling the dignity and respect of that parent to want to provide for their child. And all my 53 plus years in Haiti, I have never, ever, ever been asked to sponsor a child. Ever. What I have been asked is, will you invest in me to be able to care for my child?
Thank you.
And that's it. Okay, I think that answers a lot of our questions. And if there's nothing else for the good of the club,
Next week, first business.
Also quickly, the stuff that's sold here, so Betsy's visiting from Canada. I am
She's
seasonally.
my sister.
I've also spent a lot of time in Haiti, not as much as I'm not as old. I did live there for 5 years in the 80s. Anyways, I have much more than this here, and I go to Jam and Jensen's every Thursday night. So if anyone's in Jensen Beach at all, on Thursday nights from 6 till 10, I'm by the Chamber of Commerce when I'm not traveling around. And I'm willing to do home parties if you want. I can also speak at a different level than Betsy, but I am also impassioned about the work we do there. So I'm seasonally in Vero Beach, then I go to Canada for the summers. And I'm the country director for Haiti, USA, and my mandate is to fundraise. And we want to raise money for literacy is what we really want to do.
So if anybody wanted to support and getting more involved in,
I'm your gal.
person to contact.
Yeah. And I have cards and stuff up here.
Lastly, there's a website or.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on we have brochures here, as well as
It's
business
actually
cards.
on our Facebook page right now too. If you go to our Facebook page. I
Oh,
put
you
it up
are
on
on
your-
it, sir.
Yeah,
Oh, you are
it's on
so
our
on
Facebook
it.
page.
You're making us look bad here. We didn't even give him a bio until 10 minutes before.
Okay, anything else for the good of the club? Going once, going twice, all right. Thank you all.
Good job. Thanks for being with us today. Thank you.